It has been extremely challenging going from being a student my whole life to now trying to step into what I've been building for. I think a massive part in being able to do that is express myself. Who am I? And I feel like I actually do know who I am, but the struggle is how do I express that? Whenever I talk with other people about this topic, I'm actually surprised because other people feel similarly where they feel like kind of nobody understands them, and expressing and getting people to really get you is hard. It's challenging, and doing it in a way that resonates with people is important because at the end of the day, you are trying to connect with other people. And when I think about where to start with this goal of how to express who I am, I think about the core thing that's kind of defined how I live my life, and that is to think big. When I think about the moment when I started to think bigger, I actually go to a very specific story, the wild realization I had when I was 18. Actually the first video in this series that I've started, and it is really trying to learn how to express myself, which is something actually I think a lot of people kind of struggle with. Not necessarily who they are, but how do you say to other people, and how do you share what your dreams are and bring people along the way? I know I'm someone who definitely likes being connected with other people who think similarly, and that oftentimes is beyond my physical circles. So that's why I love the internet so much. Anyways, today we're gonna do an excursion while we talk about this story I have to tell you, my wild realization when I was 18, where I really learned to think bigger. Anyone who's my friend knows that I'm always thinking about, I guess, just if you're gonna do something, how to have a maximum impact and really do things fully, live your life fully. That's like a huge core pillar of mine. But we're going somewhere, and this is the bag I'm bringing, so cute. I need to transfer from my old purse into this one what I'm gonna bring. So while we talk about this, let's figure out what I'm bringing. I'm from Ramona, which is in San Diego, California. Basically the countryside of San Diego. I mean, we do rodeos, it's small town vibes, beauty queen, like that's us. And everyone from my hometown and kind of people in my life, they definitely find it shocking just where I am today, which is so funny because they have no idea where I'm trying to take this to. You don't really leave that much. Like maybe you go to a different state, but you definitely don't go to other countries. You don't, like just so many things happen. You don't think of being a fashion designer. You don't think of being like a social researcher, a PhD researcher, visual communication. Like you just, the art world, like you just don't think of these things, you know? And it has been a long journey of believing in myself and thinking big. It wasn't just one moment. This has been ongoing for years. Ever since I had this wild realization at 18. That is when it all started. So anyways, I got my bag together. I guess I took everything that was in this bag. Let's go. Oh my gosh, it's so windy. Sunny, but windy. Okay, so the first thing you need to understand about where I came from is like Hollister was considered very chic, okay? We had to drive 40 minutes to get to a mall. Like it's a countryside, guys. Like we didn't even have, like, in our hometown, there was like no even Muslims. Like I didn't meet my first Muslim until college. It was rural. We drove 45 minutes to go see a movie. It is a really different way to live than I feel like people who are used to the city can even fully understand. So that was like where I came from. So obviously I felt like, I don't know, I was always just so interested in people from other places because we just didn't have a lot of diversity in that sense. So when I got to college, like my world was like rocked, okay? So I went from countryside, and then at 18, I went to Boston, to a city, and like one of the most international colleges in the US. I mean, it's hard to explain to people fully. And my mindset going into it was just like, I already felt like I like won the lottery and like my life was already totally different than anyone I knew. Like, nobody even went to the East Coast, where I'm from, for college. So going to one of the most international schools and like meeting those kids rocked me. Like, literally rocked me. I was like very focused on my goals at the time, which I was trying to figure out, because for the longest time my biggest goal was to get into college. So when I did that, I was like, oh shoot, now what? And that's another lesson, is like always make your dreams extremely big, which is why I think very big now, because I ended up achieving the things that I had planned for myself like earlier than I thought. And then I was left like, what am I doing now? It's important to think big, because you can feel really unfulfilled if you end up achieving it and then like you're like, what's my purpose? Okay, I'm taking a seat for a sec. We're close to the ocean though. Can you see it in the back? I think also something when I went to college is like, I was kind of like insecure insecure about where I'm from not being cool enough, I guess. Like, I guess I've always kind of struggled with how to express myself and how to embrace myself. Yeah, embracing is part of it. And I think that's like the first thing before you're even able to express, is embracing yourself, which today I think I'm there. But if you were to ask me like a couple years ago, I definitely wasn't there. So embracing yourself is a huge part of this. I always just felt like, I don't know, compared to city people and international people, like they have such exciting lives and all these things going on. Like, why would they think it's cool I'm from the countryside, you know? And that's just so wrong. Now I think being from like a more rural place is one of the coolest things about me. I think it taught me so many great things. It gave me a lot of ground. Like, I feel like a very grounded person, and just perspective in general. When I was in college, like I couldn't I couldn't express it. And a lot of people where I'm from, which is Ramona again, we end up saying like we're just from San Diego, which is still accurate. Like, we are from San Diego, but like our experience compared to other San Diegans is very different, because again, we're in the rural side of it. Like, we have cows and chicken farms and one of my friends has a pet bison. Like, that is what we're talking about here. And so I'm sure, like, if you were to ask other people from my hometown when they travel how they describe where they're from, there's a bit of like confusion in general. But anyways, when I got to college, I couldn't express all that. So I always would just say I'm from San Diego, and I'd almost like put on the surfer girl vibe a little more than what was probably authentic, because I am a little bit of that, but I'm also a bit of country girl vibes. How pretty. The cool thing about the beach in Brighton and Hove is that it's pebbled. I think it's cool, at least. So your feet don't get all sticky with the sand. And really only the summer is when you can possibly go in the water. It's so cold. It still is cold. But on a really hot day, you can go in and it's nice. So I'm going to plop up on this little bench. So I am 18 in Boston. There's all these international kids around, city people. I'm a country girl. And I never really had bigger dreams besides getting into college. I guess what I thought was, okay, now that I'm here, let me just try to do what I can to make money, so that way I can like live a good life, I guess. So I did work a lot. But really, when I first started mingling with people, different people from different places, I'll tell you, the first thing I noticed, and of course this would be the first thing I noticed, is what everyone was wearing. I noticed there were fabrics I have never seen before in my life. Like, I had never seen wool, real wool before, and like what that looked like on a coat, on an outfit. I had never touched like real leather before. I had never seen like just the materials that I was seeing, and the way they styled it is a whole nother story. Like, just the way they would put outfits together. Like, I had never, and people were doing it in all different ways, and I was just mind blown. Like, I didn't realize these things and these ways of being existed, my whole lens for the world was through movies and shows. And like at the time, I mean, a little bit on social media, but social media wasn't like what it was now, where you're connected with people all over the world. It was much more you're connected to the people you actually know kind of vibes. So I was seeing things I had never seen before, and it made me realize how the world as we see it is very much built by the beliefs we have of what's possible. So I didn't know you can wear a coat with the material of wool. As silly as that sounds, we don't wear wool coats where I'm from. We wear denim jackets. Like, that may seem obvious, but like it's not to me. And this is why I find it hard to talk to people who aren't also from the countryside sometimes when I talk about perspective. And so, you know, take the wool coat example, like it just bled into so many different things, you know. It bled into the way they talk about things, the way, like everything was different. And it made me realize that even being an American, like our conception of what's possible and what the norm is completely built on what's available to us. And there's a whole nother world out there of ways to live and systems that exist and reasons why people behave a certain way. It really, I'm talking about sociology. Like I realized what sociology is at 18. Even in just being an American, like a lot of the ways we get our fashion. We don't have manufacturing facilities typically in America where like you have these niche designers and they're making like a bunch of clothes and you can have your own style with this designer. Like that's a city thing. Like if you're in a country town or a suburb, like you're going to a big corporation to get your clothes, and so we're all kind of looking somewhat aesthetically similar. But when you're in a city, it's like you have all these different options. So like how the structures in your life built what you think is possible. That's like another thing. So my big realization at 18, like how wild it was to realize the idea that everything I have ever conceived for myself was built from ideas that were already presented to me in ways I thought were possible. But there's so much more. It's bigger. That blew my mind. That blew my mind when I really, and I think it still is mind-blowing, and you can't perceive it until you are removed from it and how many ways it affects you. And so then I became extremely interested in seeing other places and ways of being and knowing what all my possibilities were, so I was able to think big. And to make matters more trippy, because I'm trying to trip you out a little, everyone that you know is probably operating under the assumptions of what they're used to as well. So it's not like you can even get inspo from that many people if everyone is living in a similar lifestyle. Like, you know how they say who you surround yourself with, something along the lines of whoever you surround yourself with is like kind of how your life becomes. It's true in the sense too, because they tell you what's possible. You won't believe how many people thought it was nuts, all the different things I've done in my life. Like people close to me telling me things aren't going to work out because of this or that, putting a lot of fear in my head. And that's where faith comes in, but that's a whole nother video. But I mean, even going to college on the East Coast, I remember how many people were like, why would you do that? Like, that's not a good idea. That's crazy. Don't do that. This, that, and the other. And you can't listen to those people. Like, you have to be able to dream big and go for things even when you have no reference points, just because you feel called to it and trusting that intuition. It's easier said than done, because sometimes you don't even know how big you can go. So I want to think bigger, dream bigger. I mean, I have really big dreams now, and I'm even still questioning, like, are these big enough? Now I wonder, is it big enough what I'm dreaming? I hope you feel me. I hope you can understand me. Is it big enough? Oh, I'm home. I think in general what I'm trying to talk about with you guys is perspective. You need perspective to think big. Whether that's doing something like going somewhere really different for university, or maybe it's joining some sort of internet community like this one where we think big. I don't know what it is, but it's so important. And it's something that we should constantly be trying to check for ourselves and have for ourselves. I love meeting people who are really different than me because just for that reason of perspective, I love talking with them about the way they see the world, and it makes me think about how I'm viewing everything. My wild realization at 18 was how my life was about to be planned for me unless I got out of the systems I exist within. I needed to go to different countries. I needed to meet different kinds of people. I needed to pursue a career to the highest points possible. Like, these are the things I needed to do and I felt called to do. Being exposed to things that are just so different helped me think big. It helped give me that perspective. And this stuff does take a bit of courage. You have to feel okay being the odd person out and doing something maybe nobody in your circles are doing. But that's what it takes. I mean, you're not going to have an extraordinary life doing the same thing everyone else is doing. So yeah, this is what I'm thinking about. And this is a little insight into my mentality. And when I think about like how I got to where I am today, it took thinking big and having courage and like believing in it and knowing it's possible. Like, there's a lot I'm still working on as a person. I'm not where I want to be yet. I have bigger goals than where I'm at now. I'm definitely struggling with some things. For example, just even expressing myself more is like kind of tough. But here I am trying my best, and I wish the same for you guys too. Thank you so much for watching this episode, this first episode of this new chapter, and I'll talk to you guys really soon. Ciao, ciao.